You might expect maybe at such a prestigious event to have someone speaking to you tonight who has captained their country. Sorry. Someone maybe who's won a World Cup with their country. Nope. Would it be asking too much to have someone who has scored a try? Yes, indeed it would.
We could listen to the BBC World Service for 2 minutes a day if there was reception. And on this particular day, Charlie said, just to show you how out of touch we were, the United Kingdom is at war. So I said, who with? And he said, oh, I didn't get that bit. We sat for 5 days, the bad radio reception, arguing who the hell it could be. I mean, we knew that Mrs. Thatcher was aggressive, but we could not work out who with. Of course, we assumed it was France, but we had no proof. When they said it was Argentina, we thought that was just a stupid BBC joke.
Darren Bent, who fell out with me because we played at home one night against, with a minute to go, the ball came over, it was a yard off the goal line, and he headed it and missed the goal from a yard out. And I went on TV, I said, my old woman could have scored that. And he got the raving up, you know. But I'm sorry, there was about 4 million blokes sitting at home going, my old woman could have scored that. Anyway, I walk onto the training ground. You can imagine Bentley slagging me off to all the other lads. Oh, well, you've got him here, you know. Anyway, as I walk out, ball comes over. Bentley hits a volley from 30 yards in the top corner. It's the best goal I've ever swear I've never seen a strike like it. I shouted out, oi, Bentley! I said, my old woman couldn't have scored that one.
I don't think they showed this in the jungle, but when there was 11 of us, me and Owen, I think it was the night that you win like a stay in the caravan, and I remember saying to him, God, the amount of girls that would love to be in here with you now, and we're discussing like our best Premier League players or something like that.
Then it happened, ladies and gentlemen. Crack! Lenihan, our big Irish skipper's on his knees with blood rushing from his nose. The medical backup is rushed on. The medical backup, remember it was amateur days, was a bucket, sponge, towel, ice. Lenihan's quickly recovered. He's pulled himself up to his own 6'6" height. He's pulled his Lions forwards in tight around him. How's the big Paddy gonna take it? How's the Irishman gonna do? What's he gonna do? He put his Lions forwards tight in around him. And this was his exact words, ladies and gentlemen. Chilcott, I want that fucker sorted. Me being me, a West Country forward with no brain cells, as you now know. I always used to check where the referee's socks were. Crack! I gave this monster the best I got. He didn't move. Some said the twat smiled.
Because if Prince Andrew is sitting this far away from me as he was on the day, laughing at my inappropriate negotiation skills, which are appropriate, making connections with people, I knew we had it. Princess Beatrice is a bit more orcs, but what can you do? But she was the rainmaker. We get to the end of that negotiation and he says, I'm going to go and speak to Mum now. And I think, hold on, mate, you're 59, that's a bit sad. And then my brain clicks in, you mean the Queen.
We got there to China and he's so drunk. He's so hungover. He's missed the opening ceremony, he's missed the PR day, he's nearly missed his match. But didn't he go and win the tournament? That was absolutely incredible. So maybe those, got to prepare well, you've got to do all the right things. Maybe that's a load of rubbish.
Clive Woodward was trying to instill belief in our team. We're up at Old Trafford and he walks into the team room and he puts the team up, our whole team up, okay? And then he puts the All Blacks right next to them. And he stands in the middle of the two teams and he goes, I would not swap one of these England players for one of those New Zealand players. And across from him looking at it, it's just a Marsh. I think, oh, I'm not sure. And then there's Johnny Wilkinson, yeah, he's better. And then there's a bit of a giggle at the back of the room. He looks across and he goes, you know, why are you giggling? One of the boys goes, I'm not being funny, but do you not think we should swap Austin for Jonah Langley?
The way astronomy works, right? So you look at the Andromeda galaxies.
Yep.
2 million light years away.
Yep.
That means you're seeing it as it was 2 million years in the past.
Yep.
It takes the light 2 million years to get here. So you could ask the question, well, how far away do you have to look to see the origin of the universe? And you can pretty much see, we can see the afterglow of the Big Bang. It's called the cosmic microwave background radiation. It was discovered in the 1960s. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang. So it is, you cannot claim that there wasn't a Big Bang because you can see it. It's like saying.
It was me, my dad and my coach went and saw the surgeon, and he basically said these 3 things to me. He said, your hamstring shot, your athletics career's over, you're never going to compete for your country again. My advice, go and get yourself a real job and give up this jogging. That's basically what he said to me. He referred to my athletics career as jogging. And as you can imagine, that went down really well.
I've just bowled out Vivian Richards, the best batsman in the world. It's the end of the over. I put a cap on with the Crown and the Lions. I put the sweater on with the Crown and the Lions. I'm walking to the boundary, Western Terrace. They announced it over the tannoy system, so how many, what was it, 25,000 Yorkies. Now it's my 50th test wicket. I thought I'm going to get some applause from Yorkshire crowd for the first time in my career. Incorrect. I reached the boundary at the Western Terrace at the far end of Leeds at 11:25 in the morning, and they're all pissed out their heads, right? They are dressed in gorilla suits and banana skins. There were 25 Elvis Presleys, there's 9 nuns, Batman and Robin, Superman, and half a dozen Daleks. They could not care a toss. They were more interested in these 2 blokes who were running up and down the front of the stand at the Western Terrace, dressed as a pantomime horse, with 4,000 of them chanting, "Gee up, Neddy." Nothing from me apart from Spider-Man. Spider-Man stood up 30 rows back and shouted, "Hey, Millie, you tosser! I've just paid 50 quid to watch Viv Richards bat all day," so basically, it were a pleasure.
They used to put the ejection seat in, pin in, because I'm told you wouldn't want to be ejecting while you were doing this, but put the pin in and they'd unstrap and unzip, use the pee bag, put it all away, and then it all folded down, job was done. Great. What was I going to do? Well, the RAF took this very seriously indeed, and before long started the necessary paperwork. And I was invited to take part in the RAF Women's Urinary Pads Trial.
Colin, he's got the old enforcer to put the door in. So as he goes to put it through the door, he lets go and it goes straight through the door and leaves a perfect comedy hole, right? So he goes like that. So he puts his head through the perfectly made eye hole for him, and he gets whittled up by the old terrace and the paintball, and he comes out and his respirator's just covered in paint, right? So Billy Billingham, who's now on the Channel 4 show, he goes absolutely skits. He's like, "Get out the way!" And he goes to run and shoulder barge the door down, and he gets stuck in it, right? And the X-rays on the other side, and you can see his shoulders going, you know. So he starts whittling away with the paint, and Billy's in the door getting whittled up. Anyway, it was chaos. Then one of the SB call signs throws a flashbang through the window, goes straight through the other window, and lands right in the middle of all the hostages and frags them. One woman's got like 50-degree burns on her inner thighs and that. It was chaos. The vehicle patrol, they weren't much better. As they took off, right, it was stand by, go, and they went flying off. 2 guys fell off the back of the C-tap as they were coming in and were trying to run after the patrol, right, in full view of all these, like, police chief supers. And then as they get there, they open the door, and one of the guys runs into the open door and knocks himself out, right? It was absolutely chaos. And everybody goes back, right, and we're all sort of like this, yeah, that's how you do it.
he said, so which book do you want from here? And I deliberately turned away, and I just reached in, I said, that one, and I pulled it out, and it was by this fellow, Bernhard Adolf Hansch, who was a German naturalist. It was a translation of an account of his journey and his life's work, really.
I always use this photograph to remind me two things. Kenton Cool is my real name, C-O-O-L. Secondly, I was born in Slough, and in Slough there are no mountains. And thirdly, oh, it's gone already. God damn, I'm handsome. Right.
When you find chocolate on your husband's desk, there's really only one thing to do. So I ate it, and this taste explosion went off in my head. And I realised that this was the darkest, yummiest, naughtiest chocolate I'd ever eaten. And then Craig said to me that it was the world's first organic chocolate. And obviously any guilt that I felt at that point just kind of disappeared. And I began to nag at him, and I said, you know, Craig, what are you going to do with this? And the memory of the chocolate nagged at me, and the more I nagged at him, and eventually he turned around and said, look, if you're so interested, you do it.
That James Haskell having, you know, he had earpiece problems. So we do all that amazing analysis, but he starts going with the sing-song.
I think you'll have a sing-song. It's important to celebrate a victory, whether it was the prettiest thing in the world. I think you've got to get around with each other, ready to regrow next week.
And you have to YouTube James Haskell's sing-song to understand what I'm talking about. It wasn't his fault, but oh my God. The next to him at the time, I was thinking, did he just say what I thought he said? Because if he did, he's not really making any sense.
I come off the podium after having this medal from Prince Harry as a gold whistle, and honest to God, Sarah, and Joel Drew said to me, I've never heard this before, and I don't think I'll ever hear it again. As I'm coming off, the crowd were chanting my name coming off the podium.
Really?
It was, yeah. And he said to me, could you hear it? And I stopped and listened, and they were. And then obviously then when the next team came up, that changed, and the change room after the game, and Barnsley goes to me, oh, Nigel said, sorry about that forward pass. And I said to him, Barnsley, don't worry, I said, you didn't know what a forward pass was in 2007, and you still don't know in 2015. And we both had a laugh and had a few beers and enjoyed.
At the end of that test match, we had a meeting. About 2 hours in, we had a couple of crates of beers. We always tend to be a bit more honest when you have a few beers, and we sat and said, obviously we've had a disastrous 3 days, 4 days, but we left that meeting about 2 hours later with the confidence that our game plan worked.
I said, Antonio, they say he's very volatile. Oh yeah, he's very volatile. He can play on the left side, he can play on the right side. Everybody knows he's one of the most volatile players in Colombia. This is...
Has to shoot by the crowd, but he's gone for the chip instead!
When he finished, they said, how would you like to remember Sir Alex when he retired? I said, I would like to remember him when we beat them 5-0 and Philippe Albert chipped Schmeichel in the last minute. Oh, can we watch it again? Oh. And I said he looked like that, and that's how I want to remember him.